Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Pokemon Black. I'm your Gamer. In the last episode, we beat the Elite Four, or well, we finished off the Elite Four, I think it was, and then we also beat N as well as Getsis. We managed to get our last team member. So what we're going to be doing today is, well, I'm just going to put it frank, I'm going to get trolled the hell out of. Not much that I can really do about it, of course. I had to do a bunch of things off screen, and basically the bunch of things I had to do is just level up a lot. And by a lot, I mean a lot, because the post-game, at least a lot of the areas in the post-game, a lot of the Pokemon that the trainers have, as well as a lot of the Pokemon that you can find in the wild, are all extremely high level. So if you want to stand a chance against any of them whatsoever, you will do some off-screen training. Of course, you can go into certain areas, find Audino, and just level grind against those things. It's not that difficult, really. Anyways, obviously Looker's here. He's kind of asking for our help to, you know, find the sages. And, you know, because they kind of got away, as well as Getsis, who got away as well. I believe Getsis is the only one you cannot find in the game after after you beat him. So I mean, that kind of has something to do with Black and White too, which of course, you know, we'll get to eventually. So we're outside just chilling with our friends, I suppose, and all that other crap. They mentioned Black City, which is an area that we couldn't get to, but it is east of Nimbasa City. The reason why we couldn't get there, obviously, is because you have to be, you know, post-game in order to even get through that area. Because on, I think, Route 16, there's a, you know, a little pathway, or, you know, checkway, or, like, not a checkway point, but like a, yeah, I don't really know how to, you know, explain it, but, yeah, there's like a little area that you couldn't get through before, and now you can, because there's, like, no construction workers or whatever in the way. So, I mean, that's kind of a thing. Anyways, we just got our national dex because it's required for the post game. So what we're going to be doing in regards to being trolled today, we're going to catch the remaining musketeer that we have not already caught. So that's going to be kind of a thing. And considering the over level thing that's now a thing, because thing is a thing, we can't do any damage to it, and I kind of failed to remember something whenever we were in the middle of trying to do this, you know, before I actually did the narration, of course, which is what I'm doing right now. I forgot that I could do something, and I think that's part of the reason why this takes as long as it does. But yeah, if I'm not mistaken, every single time I've come to catch any of the musketeers, this is the one that's always giving me the most trouble, and it's not like I want it to, of course, but I mean, it just is the biggest pain in the ass for me. Terrakion's always been rather nice about things, I guess, despite the fact that I tried to soft reset hunt for it a long time ago, and it just wouldn't show. It was well over a month, and I got fed up with it, so that's when I finally just caved and decided to learn how to RNG abuse. So I mean, but basically, Virizion is always been, well, is and always has been the biggest pain in my ass when it comes to the three of the trio. So I really don't know what all to say here. So obviously what we need to do here is create a save state, because in case we actually ended up killing it, we want to be able to just immediately start right back where we were, rather than having to re-record the entire episode. Of course, it probably would have been better for me to do that way. We could have done a lot more in this episode, but I know how some people enjoy watching people get trolled, so yeah. Basic strategy here was to at least use one of my fire types. You know, the resistances and all that other happy junk. Pressure him with a higher level than Chandelure, so I decided to go with that first. But I changed my mind and decided that I needed to do something, so I decided to go for Whimsicott here. Generation 5 doesn't implement that whole spore and whatnot shit on grass types, so you're more than welcome to, I believe you're also capable of using spore, but I know that you're still able to use stun, spore, poison powder, stuff like that, and they'll still work, as opposed to in Generation 6, where that was changed. So now that it's paralyzed, they're bringing the Chandelure to take no damage from its normal and fighting attacks, while taking resisted damage from Giga Drain, because this thing actually has that. So considering I figured I couldn't damage it, yeah, I just decided to start chucking balls, and that's what we're going to be for about another 5 minutes. So the thing that I goofed up on here is that I could have used Confuse Ray around now, and it would have been able to start inflicting damage to itself, but for some reason I didn't think of that, so I just kind of sat here for like 5 to 10 minutes before I finally started doing it. Pardon my chair. But yeah, so Virizion's always been kind of like a huge pain in the ass when it comes to catching. Cabalion's always been the easiest, whereas Terrakion's always been rather bearable, at least whenever it comes to it being kind of a trolley capture, I suppose. I mean, as you all saw, I managed to take care of it well enough, but yeah. Sorry about that, I had to yawn. I literally just woke up not long ago, and I was trying so hard not to, but I kind of did. I made sure not to make any noise. That's why there was a long pause of silence there. I do apologize though. I kind of went to bed around 6:30 in the morning, so I don't think I got as much sleep as I really wanted to, but you know, whatever. I have to make sure that I record and get this up before like 7 o'clock at night, because I mean, it's okay. My ideal time is to have it uploaded by 5. That way, for those on the West Coast, it'll be up and live around 2 o'clock, which means, you know, like if they're still in school or whatever, when they get out of school, if you guys get home and you decide you want to check your, you know, see what your subscriptions have uploaded or whatever, you know, it'll be there. It'll be one of the more recent things. Things like that. Like, I just feel like it's an ideal time for me to upload. I don't really know where the majority of my viewership is, and there's a bug in my window. But yeah, I don't really know when, like, where the majority of my viewership actually is, whether it's the United States or if, like, the majority of the people that actually watches my stuff live somewhere outside of the country, in which case I would probably be better off figuring out an upload schedule for when, you know, they decide to watch or whatever, because, I mean, views are a thing, but I mean, I guess it's not really all I care about, of course, but I mean, making sure that more people see it is kind of a thing as well that you want to do whenever you have a YouTube channel, I suppose. So I mean, I don't know. So yeah, as I told you, we sat here for about 5 minutes just chucking balls. We managed to get a 3 shake. I think we've already seen that. Not entirely. It's moving fast enough to the point where I can't really remember if we've seen it or not. But yeah. At least the paralysis helps. I mean, as long as it can, like, as long as it gets a turn out of attacking every once in a while, because if it runs out of moves, then it starts to struggle, and yeah, that would kind of help. But then once it's close to killing itself, it kills itself, you have to restart. No one wants to do that, so I mean, we have a solid. I'm trying to think here. about 5 or so minutes left. Maybe. Something like that. Before we actually capture this thing. So as you notice, I finally used Confuse Ray because I finally remembered Confuse Ray was a thing. The thing is, Virizion is kind of a pain in the ass, and you're about to find out why. I believe it's this turn, or no, it's the next turn. It's the next turn. You'll find out why Virizion is a pain in the ass. So I mean, Virizion hates me, that's all I know. It snaps out of confusion, hooray, now we have to waste another turn of, you know, setting up Confuse Ray again. I believe the same thing happens again. It gets one turn of confusion, it hits through it, but I think it gets safe, or no, I guess not. I thought it hit through it, but whatever. I think it still snaps out this turn. gets a 2-turn confusion, which is kind of annoying. Yeah, 2-turn confusion, which is really just annoying. In a way, I was a little more pissed off whenever I was recording this. I guess live anger is more hilarious to watch, but I mean, getting to that point where you're just like getting the fucking ball, like, I swear, like, I don't know, I don't really know why Virizion itself hates me. It's just that, like, it's weird, because, believe it or not, it's not just Virizion, there's actually a bunch of other legendaries that just absolutely despise me. And it's always them. If I'm trying to catch them, they just say, oh no, we're not doing this. Like, I don't really understand how that works, per se, because, again, like, it's always the same legendaries for me specifically. Virizion's always been one of them. I think Ho-Oh's another. Lugia's been kind of a pain as well, but at the same time I don't have as much problem with it every once in a while. So I mean, I don't know. Like, there's just several different legendaries that are always a huge pain in the ass. Suicune, whenever it comes to catching it in Cerulean City or just outside of Cerulean City, that's always been a problem. Roamers are always a problem, especially if you're not using like a Master Ball or something to trap them, of course. And by trap them, I mean you need something really fucking good to trap them. Like if you're using Crobat as a speedy thing to trap something, and what you're trying to trap is something like Zapdos or Raikou, have fun with that, okay? Let's be real, unless you're using a level 100 with like a whole bunch of healing items, it's not gonna work. So I mean, it's just a huge pain in the ass, at least when it comes to me, and it's always just the same legendaries, and I'm not entirely sure why or how that works, but it's just a thing, and I don't know. Speaking of legendaries that are a huge pain in the ass, there's still one more in this game that we have to get, and it's kind of a pain in the ass. It's something that we definitely want to get because there's a TM not very far away from it that you really want to get, and the TM that I'm talking about is Ice Beam. Something that I really want for the Samurott, as well as anything else. The only way I can actually learn it, of course, because Ice Beam is just Ice Beam. It's one of the best moves in the game. It always has been, ever since Generation 1. Like, Earthquake, Flamethrower, Thunderbolt, and Ice Beam are always going to be single-handedly the best moves since Generation 1. It's kind of a shame that some of them got nerfed, of course, but I mean, not much that can really be said or done about that. It's kind of a shame that some of them did get, you know, reduced in power, but it doesn't change the fact that they're still basically the best moves to use. 100% accurate, and they do so much damage, it's not even funny, not to mention coverage. The moves themselves don't really give much coverage, obviously. They can hit like certain Pokemon, obviously, for super effective damage. It's more along the lines of, you know, what Pokemon actually get it and how it benefits them. Like, for example, Hydreigon, it's like, oh, well, I can learn Flamethrower, Surf, and all this other crap, and it just covers a huge amount of Pokemon. It's just the fact that it's outshined by a lot of other dragons in Generation 6. So, not to mention it has that 4 times weakness to Fairy now, which is not fun. And Azumarill still sees a lot of play. Not to mention a few other things here and there, like Hyper Voice, Sylveon, things like that. Hyper Voice, fucking Gardevoir, Mega. Like, there's just so much shit that destroys Hydreigon. So, I mean, I don't know. And 14 minutes and roughly 17 seconds is what it takes to catch Virizion here. I really hate whenever Virizion is such a stubborn jackass. I don't know, maybe I'm just being unfair, maybe it's just that I have shitty luck every time I try to catch this thing, but yeah. Anyways, what we're going to be doing now is we're going to be heading to Nimbasa, because what we're going to be doing in the next episode is we're going to be heading east towards Black City, And you're gonna understand once we start, you know, working on that, basically why you need to level up, because if you don't level up, you're gonna be screwed. That's all there is to it. You will seriously get your ass handed to you. It doesn't matter what you say, and it really doesn't matter what Pokemon you have with you. If your Pokemon are still in the 50s, you will most likely lose. Most likely. I mean, if they only have like 1 or 2 Pokemon, you're probably fine. You'll probably take some serious damage, but it's not like you'll, you know, get your ass completely handed to you. Anyways, that's what we're going to be doing in the next episode, so if you haven't already, don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, and until next time, this is the PokeGamer signing out.